If I'm being 100% completely honest with y'all, I actually have no idea how to go about these videos because I'm not really one to put myself in front of a camera like that. But I do know what I'm doing, and I've had tons of friends and family come and ask me how do they learn how to trade and how do they start their own investing journey, and telling me I should teach them. I feel like it's a lot of work to take the time to teach each and every single one of them one by one for free. So I feel like making these videos and posting them to the internet would help each and every single one of them, as well as help random people, individuals out there who need the same help that I once did when I first started trading. Because I understand that a lot of these creators don't start from the bottom. You just start from the middle of nowhere. You hear a lot about strategy, biases, you hear about psychology, but nobody's really telling you where to start, where all this begins, and how to move forward from there. So my goal is to not only teach my friends and family, but to also build a platform to teach other individuals out there where to start, how to trade, and hopefully build something for myself too. At the end of this, I hope I build something for myself. So without further ado, let me get right into it. Like I said earlier, I'm not used to being in front of a camera. And another thing, I'm not no teacher. I've never been the teacher type of person a day in my life. But nothing big or good has been built by being scared of a damn camera. So I'm definitely gonna try my best to break this down for y'all from the bottom up because that's a whole other challenge for me too. If you said I just had to break this down, simple strategies, you know, even my own strategy and different concepts or perspectives or ways of viewing the market, I could definitely do that. Oh, for sure, 100%. Now, when you're talking about teaching from the ground up, all the way from the ground up, like from the floor to the sky, that's a whole different thing. And even me, I never learned from one person. I kind of went all over the place and learned from multiple different people. So I have multiple different perspectives on the same strategies. So it's kind of hard for me to come out here and promote a single perspective when I myself kind of think of the same strategies in multiple ways. But I'm going to try my best to interpret from the bottom up what trading is, what we trade, how we make money from trading, and just basically break down the simple, small little concepts that make up trading and what it is, what investments really are. First things first, this little website application you see right behind me or right beside me or whatever, that's TradingView. It's a website, personally, it's the best website that any beginner and every beginner should use to visualize the relationship between an asset's price and time. It's basically just a charting platform that we use to identify the performance of an asset, right? Now, a lot of people are gonna ask, can you trade on TradingView? Yes, you can, but TradingView itself is not a brokerage. I'm gonna get into what a brokerage is later on. It's more of just a visualization platform that we use to identify the relationships between, like I said before, price and time. Yeah. So for this first kind of episode of this, I guess, master class or mentorship, whatever you want to call it. I mean, I get it's kind of free. The first episode, I want to talk about. There's 2 points that I want to touch upon. One of them is TradingView. I personally recommend that you have TradingView open at all times during this little course. I guess you just open it, navigate it for yourself, explore the different functions, how to use it. Maybe setting coordinates, the color styles, names. Just set it to your own liking, your own desires, the settings that you would prefer, maybe that type of stuff. And the second point that I would like to touch upon, of course, would be what are markets, what is trading. I also want to touch upon what are indices, what are stocks, what are commodities, what is forex, what is crypto. And sooner as we progress in this course, of course, I'll start to get into derivatives like futures, contracts for difference, options, and so forth. technical fundamentals, sentimental analysis. But for now, we're focusing purely on trading view, and then after this, I'll get onto what is trading. The reason why I'm starting with TradingView is because I want you to understand the visuals that go behind it. Because I get a lot of questions. A lot of people are focused on the visuals before they're focused on the book stuff, the writing, the work, and that type of stuff. And that's completely understandable. I was the same way. I definitely started with the charts before I went to the books. So I'm gonna teach it the same way just for you guys. You're gonna see your volume, your little volume sticks at the bottom at the bot at the bottom. You're gonna see your candlesticks in the middle, time frames at the top on the left. You're gonna see your different uh drawing strategies. So whether it's trend lines, rays, horizontal lines, it could be Fibonacci strategies, it could be chart pattern strategies, it could be volume forecasting. You're gonna see all the utility based forecasting tools on the left. On the right, that's where you're gonna see your watch list. So it's where you're gonna be able to track the performance at all times of the different assets and securities that you've taken interest in, right? I'm just trying to go through this real quick because I want to get into what is actually trading. I want you to have TradingView open so you're not completely relying on me to kind of learn what the platform is. Because over time, it's really easy. I think it takes 2, 3 days of looking at TradingView constantly, pressing random buttons over and over again, and you'll be able to understand the full capabilities of this platform on your own, right? So I just want to get through this real quick. On the right, you have your alerts. So say price reaches a specific area and you want to be alerted, maybe on your phone, your computer. That's what we have our alert section for. Our object tree, which shows the different drawings that we may have on a specific chart at any given time. You see that trend line over there. You can delete it from the object tree. As simple as that. Next, I want to get into the real main part of this, the whole point of all of this. What is trading? I want to explain the different type of assets here on my watch list. And I'm actually going to use Google to validate that information because I understand if some people out there might not trust me, but you can't not trust Google. So I'm gonna use Google to verify that information and break it down for y'all in a way the regular Joe can understand. So I'm gonna get right to that right now. As y'all can see, I got Google pulled up here for y'all. I got all the questions. If you look at the top, you can see all the questions that we're gonna go over for today during this episode of my little course, I guess. And the reason I'm using Google is, well, first and foremost, the goal of this is not only to teach you guys how to trade, but to teach you how to teach yourself how to trade, guiding you when it comes to asking the right questions or searching up the right questions to gain the type of information that you're looking for, things of that nature. Number two is this is all verified information. You can't argue with Google. At the end of the day, no matter what, always puts it into a beautiful, simple format that anybody can understand. I just want to let you know that you can look for this information yourself. So, without further ado, first question of the day: what is the market? You know, a market is any system, place, or virtual space where buyers and sellers come together to exchange goods, services, or information. Simple as that. I can leave right there. If you want, you can pause this at any point to read over the rest of it. As you can see, the core elements of a market and common types of market. Read over it. Maybe search it up for yourself. If you're confused, I have a free Facebook group that you can go to and ask questions. I'll link it later. I'll mention it later. We just move on now. The second question is, what is trading? That's the biggest question at the end of the day. What is day trading? What is all of this? Google again, simple, beautiful answer. Trading means the act of buying and selling items, services, or financial assets. So key that to make a profit. The basic idea is to buy something at a lower price and sell it later at a higher price, or to swap one item of value for another. Whether the other item is of higher or lower value doesn't really matter. Whether you gain or lose money doesn't matter. All of that is trading. The third question of the day is, what is the difference between stocks, ETFs, and mutual funds? But in order for me to get into the differences, I have to get into what is a stock, what is an ETF, and what is a mutual fund. So as you can see right there, by definition, a individual stock is a direct fractional or whole ownership share in a single company. So basically, when I say or when somebody says they're buying stocks, it means you're buying ownership in a company and then selling that ownership later on at a future date at a higher price or a higher value, higher price point. So we make money off of the difference by buying it maybe $50, selling it at 60, and then taking the $10 difference, Simple as that. Number two, we have what is an exchange traded fund or an ETF. So an ETF is a pooled collection of securities like stocks or bonds structured to track an index or sector. Now, typically they're highly diversified. There's plenty of different stocks or plenty of different assets within a single ETF. They're very similar to indices. I'm gonna get into that later. Number three, we have mutual funds. So as you can see right there, by definition, a mutual fund is a professionally managed pool of investor money used to purchase a varied basket of securities. So think of it as like giving your cash over to a bank or someone or a bank or some type of financial advisor to them for them to go and invest in different securities, make profits, and then share the difference with you. As simple as that. If you want, you can pause and read further. You can even go search for yourself. I'm gonna move on. Number four, fourth question of the day. What are indices in market terms? Now, a market index or indice is a tool that tracks the performance of a group of assets, such as the S&P 500 or the Dow Jones Industrial Average. It acts as a thermometer for a specific part of the economy. Now, that last sentence right there is about perspective. I'm gonna get into that further later. But as you might know, the S&P 500 is an index that tracks the 500 biggest companies within the US typically, and the Dow Jones Industrial Average tracks 30 really big, well-known companies typically within the S&P 500. They're just two assets that give you exposure to multiple different stocks under one single price. As simple as that. If you read right there, an index groups together stocks, bonds, or other items to see how they move as a team. Simple as that. What I said earlier. You can pause, read it for yourself. Number five, fifth question of the day, what are commodities? Now, a commodity is a raw material or primary agriculture product that can be bought, sold, and traded in large quantities. It is fully interchangeable with other goods of the same type. Now, when you think of commodities, I'm thinking oil, I'm thinking gold, I'm thinking silver, maybe corn, I'm thinking platinum, palladium, I'm thinking cocoa, I'm thinking wheat, I'm thinking of agricultural goods, or metals. That's what we call commodities. So as you'll see over there, there's hard commodities, soft commodities, standardized products. I'll let you read. You can go further into that. On to the next question. You may have noticed I'm kind of rushing through a couple of these topics. Mostly that's because I'm really trying to get to the trading strategy side. But the whole point of these videos is to start from the bottom up and to give you a blueprint of where to start and how to move forward. So to make up for all of that, if you check in the description, there's a free full in-depth course. Same thing starts from the bottom all the way up that you can use to follow along with these videos. And just increase the manner in which you learn your knowledge, I guess. That's what I'm gonna say. But let me move on. Our sixth topic, we're almost done. What is Forex? So Forex means foreign exchange, which is the global marketplace where world currencies are bought, sold, and traded. It is the largest and most active financial market in the entire world. If you go down, you look a little how the Forex market works, you look at currency pairs. So one currency pair, which I trade personally, USD CAD, it's gonna explain right here. Currencies are always traded in pairs, such as the euro and US dollar. So euro USD, I trade USD CAD, meaning you buy one currency while selling another. You can read the rest, pause if you need to. I'm gonna show a quick little demonstration of what that looks like on these charts. So right here, I have the USD CAD, which tracks how much Canadian dollars it takes to buy one US dollar. So if you check on the scale here, you see 1.4. That's 1.4 Canadian dollars. That's in live real how much in live real time how much it takes, how much Canadian dollars it takes to buy one US dollar. As simple as that. That's what these charts represent. They just show the relationship between two different assets. I'm finally at my last topic of the day of this episode for this course. But yeah, what is cryptocurrency? Cryptocurrency is a digital or virtual form of money that uses encryption for security and operates independently of central banks or governments. Key features include decentralization, blockchain technology, and peer-to-peer transactions. In nature, it has no physical coins or paper notes. It only exists as computer code and digital wallets. So people are trading these different codes and giving them value. And yeah, trading them for real physical cash nowadays. So I've basically gone over the basics of everything you're first gonna see on TradingView. When you go to your right, you open your watch list, you see indices, you see stocks, you see commodities. I've gone over the basics. If you need more help or something you did not understand, you can always refer back to the free course, which I'm gonna put in the description, or you can join the trading group and I will answer your question for you. Honestly, either one's all for you. You know, this is your journey, and I feel like only you can control your destiny from here on out when it comes to trading. You know, with regards to trading, I've tried my best to sound as sophisticated as I could here. You know, I've been stressed making this video, but it is what it is. Hope somebody out there learned something from this. I can't wait to get to the strategy and actually trading side of things, because that's where, I really enjoy. That's what I enjoy. I have my own strategy, which I built myself and back tested for years. It's a variation of support and resistance. So I already know a ton of people, like, it makes sense. I know a lot of people are gonna hear it, look at it, and realize it makes sense. I just want to broadcast that out there. So I'm gonna end it here, man. I'm tired, bro. I'm gonna go do something. I don't know what, but I'm gonna go do something. Done with y'all.